Welcome back, and continuing our conversation with Silvanus Namang. He's the spokesperson of the APC in Plateau State, and he's been telling us some not too savory things about the division that seems to have characterized the conclusion of that election. Now, Mr. Namang, you were explaining that all sorts of untoward practices happened. Additionally, we've spoken about there 14 BVASs were lost, 14 ad hoc staff at the time were declared missing. Even 14 polling stations in Just North, I understand, it was said that voting didn't, according to newspaper reports had it that voting didn't happen in some of those places. Are these all the kind of things that have been put together and that will be submitted to a tribunal for adjudication?
Yes. What we submitted in the tribunal are three major grounds, and that is one of the grounds of the petition. The first ground is that the candidates of the PDP were not duly nominated because they did not contest under a political party. As you are aware, since 2020, there has been a problem between the PDP and PDP, which they have been trying to drag the APC into it. They conducted Congress to elect executive committee members for the party. And there was a disagreement because of exclusion of one of the camps. The former Governor Jonah Jan camp, which presently controls the PDP in the state, denied the camp of Senator Jeremiah Husseini, former Governor Fidelis Tabun, former Minister of Sports D.T. Sango, and Honorable Bitrus Kaze, a former member of the House of Reps. Their camp was denied participation, and they were not given even an ex-official member in the party. And the Jeremiah Husseini camp felt aggrieved, and they went to court. Bitrus Kaze took the issue to court, and the court ruled that ruled against the PDP that they don't have a valid executive committee members. And he advised the SP gang, Justice SP gang, clearly advised them to go back and do the right thing. Instead of going back to do the right thing, they insisted and dissolved the party and went and formed another committee to
okay, it's frozen again. Maybe I should use this time to say good morning to Mr. YAQUB from DOPEMU. Good morning to you, and go right ahead now. I hope Mr. Namang can hear you. If not, I'll paraphrase your question to him, or if it's a commentary. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shishori, and then good morning. Even though we didn't hear him again. But Shishori, let me begin by saying that kudos to the governor of Plateau State because he was the DG that produced a very valid and very good ticket as president-elect in person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Has done very well because when he was even appointed in that very particular position, he was castigating all around the club that because the ticket of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim ticket and they ought not to take that. But he took the bull by the horn that first and foremost, I'm a Nigerian before I become a Christian or Muslim. So this is position that I'm going to take, and he took it, and then he won the election for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Once again, kudos to him for blessing. But having said that, Mr. George said something earlier. The APC in Plateau State, now they are complaining about the returning officer. They ought not to allow that to stay before now. But as it is, yes, election has been gone. The winner has been announced, but the winner is also there. Yes, they took the right step. That is what they are telling Obi people, that election has come and passed. That other standard that you can use not to attack anybody. Go to court, go and fight it. If you're so sure that truly you won the election, Tribunal is there to settle every one of us. But I believe, as Reverend Dominic said earlier, the best ever, I repeat, the best ever election we have ever had since 1999 is this very particular election that we just had. Because there was no any state can boast 1 million, except even cannot say that Rabi Musa Kwankato put that much election. It is not reaching 1 million for one candidate there. So it's best election so ever. Then another thing is this. Your station, TVC station, remain the best station ever. Why am I saying that? I start to be corrected in this country today as it is. I want somebody to tell me one station that gives him opportunity to Nigerian citizens to speak their mind. None. Even the one that Mr. George mentioned earlier, and the channel service. In fact, before channel service allowed that. But when they brought guests, the guys beginning to lie. We that we call in, we begin to antagonize the person that you are lying. What you are saying is not right. They shut it down. They don't allow it anymore. It is only TVC station that allow us to be our men, to say what Nigerian citizens. In fact, a lot of people want to call in. Sometimes when we be our men, we are saying their mind as well. Somebody wants to say, as I'm saying now, some people are there, they want to say the same thing, but they are not opportune to call in. So, Mr. Ayori, keep going. We are support this station, and then it will be the best station ever. Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. YAQUB, for calling in. And in fact, you brought up something that Mr. George had started, and I was going to bring it to Mr. Namang as well. And Mr. Namang, I hope that the audio is back now. Can you hear me now? Aha, there you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. A caller before this had said that when you noticed that anomaly, that a person who you knew to be a member of a political party was acting as an INEC official, and which shouldn't have been, why did you allow him to proceed up to the extent that it is now an issue that you are taking before a tribunal? I mean, why wasn't an outcry?
Let me, what happened? What happened was the list of returning officers were not published for us to scrutinize to know whether the person is a party member or not. We took it that the normal process is involvement of university lecturers for such exercise. But in this case, there were two strange cases. Apart from that, where you said 14 beavers were missing and so on in Just North. This, the issue of Just North is Narakuta B, which happens to be a stronghold of the APC. And it's one of the largest wards in the whole country with over 300, close to 300 voters. And what happened in the case of, in that case, was that there was a special.
Oh, I really would like to hear that explanation. I hope the audio, the sound comes back pretty soon, because you were just going to say what happened. So if we do get you back, you probably are not aware that we can't hear what you're saying anymore. So I'm going to take, you know.
We complain.
Could you, now that you're back, sorry, sir, now that you're back, could you go back to where you said what happened was, and then at that time we lost sound. Could you go back to that place, please?
Okay, what took place in Just North is the strange involvement of the electoral officer for Just North, who suddenly took over the function of the collation officer. The Narakuta B ward is one of the biggest wards in this country, with close to 300 voters. So there was a special interest. And this thing happened. There was a collaboration, strangely so, between INEC, because the INEC was deeply involved. The electoral officer, who was supposed to be the umpire, took over the collation of results. And we complained, and nothing was done about it. And that is one of the grounds of our petition at the tribunal. But the issue of Mangu local government, we never imagined, going by the electoral law, that somebody from somewhere who participated actively in the primary election of a party to represent it at the House of Assembly suddenly became the returning officer for the local government.
Yeah.
And this is one of the grounds of our petition. The only way we can get a solution to this is through the electoral process. And you are aware of the case of YAQUB, what happened to during Senator Akpabio's election, where a similar thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of it, it's not just the tribunal, but that person has to be treated according to the law of the land.
Indeed, indeed. Elder David in ALIMOSHO has called in. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you, Yori. God will bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And you too.
I appreciate your effort. The election has come and gone. We thank God. The most popular candidate has emerged. There's no doubt about it. This is the freest election we have ever had since 1999. I always said in this station here that Tinubu will win this election, if you could remember.
That's right.
I don't doubt it. But the only thing I want to appeal to Nigeria is that we should just accept the result of what has happened, because the best election we have ever had, if I analyze it, I was in PDP, I joined in 1990, 10 years, correct. And we know what happened there. What is there is that let us thank God that the best result has come out. People have the best results all over the whole country. We are not talking of other tribal politicians who get votes in their own area and in other places. And some of the APC members that fail in some other places, we know the reason why it happened. They shouldn't bother. They should just forget about that, because elephant meat is more bigger than that of antelope. Yeah, APC is elephant. And now that our president that is going out, may God bless him, the best we can ever see since 1999. And he's handing over to the man who will lay a better foundation. Nigeria will enjoy, you will enjoy, we enjoy. May God bless Nigeria. May God bless every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much for calling in, Elder David. Mr. Namang, let me bring to you a comment I've also heard. The way public conversation is going on. Of course, as you know, following the election, there's still the two closest people to him, that is the second and the distant third, Mr. Peter Obi, are all protesting. In fact, Mr. Obi has actually said from his distant third position that he's going to prove how he won the election. All of that as it may at the moment. But what do you say to those who say the election has come and gone? We've done the campaign, but a lot of people are still talking as if we were in campaign mode. Nobody can vote anymore. Now the only thing that can happen is that rulings can come down from the bodies. What would you say from the tribunals? What would you say to people who speak like that? So some, they say there is a need to continue in the face of unrelenting stories to the contrary, and that if you actually ignore it and let it go, then some of it might begin to be perceived as truth. But I don't know what your take is.
Okay, the issue in Nigeria is that, as I said earlier, the tribunals have become part of our electoral process. Until all the cases are dispensed of, you cannot certainly say that one has won an election. And the case of the presidential election, let's clarify this. It's not just easy or as simple as saying that for the Labour Party presidential candidate to say that he won the election. Winning the election is not just number of votes. It is number of states. When you win election 25% in 14 or 15 states, in the Nigerian system, it has to be 24 states or more. So that is an aspect that needs to be clarified. I don't want to go into that. But in our case here in Plateau State, we have instances to prove especially with regards to the gubernatorial election, that beavers were not used. And that is one of the strong grounds of our petition. Beavers were not used. That is impunity. Which
in certain places or altogether, because
no, in certain places as contained in our petition, particularly in Lantal North, in Mangu local government, in Jos South, and parts of Jos North that you had mentioned.
Yes,
beavers were not used. There were no proper accreditation for the election. That is one of the major grounds of our petition. And as I was telling you before, when you said I should summarize, the summary of it is that the APC has a strong ground because as it stands, and the PDP doesn't want to hear this. That is the Zamfara case. It is staring them in the face, and they cannot escape from it because they don't have a valid executive committee members to produce candidates who can contest election. That is one of our major grounds. Even when the courts ruled, courts of concurrent jurisdiction, two just high courts ruled that they should go and do the right thing. They refused to do it. They went to Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal dismissed their case that they have no ground. They cannot present candidates because they don't have a valid executive committee. And you remember, during the Just North BASA Federal House of Reps by-election, that issue came up, and it was ruled against the PDP that they don't have a validly nominated, validly elected executive committee. So they cannot conduct primaries to produce candidates for election. That is one of our major grounds. They have made all attempts to ensure that our candidate, Dr. Nentawe, did not go to the tribunal. They even evaded service of the petition and forgetting that there are options. And we use the option available to us by going to obtain a court order to do substituted service. That was 2 weeks ago. So we are good to go at the tribunal, and we are confident that we are going to get justice at the tribunal, not just in the gubernatorial election, but other elections where we can second.
Okay. Basil in Abuja, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning this morning.
Okay, then.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead. Is it a comment or a question?
A comment, please. I heard is it Silvanus, the elder in the studio there, the one you are...
Mr. Silvanus Namang, spokesman of APC in Plateau.
He said a lot, yes, he said a lot about the campaigns in Plateau State and Mangu local government especially. He spoke about religious involvement and however. But if you look at it critically, in Nigerian concept, we know it, and this is what has happened and is happening. You cannot do away with religion in terms of politics. After all, we have two major religious groups in Nigeria. We have other religions, but they are minor, so we don't consider that. We only have two major that display, which is the Islam and the Christianity. And the electorate also, they belong to these religions. So you do not expect that elections will not be involved with religious people to participate. After all, Nigeria is a religious nation. So you don't expect to get other voters apart from...
Well, actually, Nigeria is a secular state.
No,
Nigeria is a secular state.
No, he's the one that made mention of religion, how religion displayed in Plateau. That's why I'm just trying to speak on that.
Okay.
There is nowhere that religion is not displayed. Everywhere. So you don't expect a Christian-dominated area to come there and expect to get votes as others. You can be a herbalist, it's your own, but the truth is that religion is one thing that cannot be denied as far as Nigerian elections is concerned. Although, let me just pick that area. Let us go to the election proper. When you are talking of an election that happened at the national level, the electorate conducted themselves properly in a very good and matured manner. But at the end of the day, personally, I was highly disappointed with the so-called Prof. Mahmoud for the declaration of the election without following the constitutional elite of the elections as he declared before the elections. He told us that it's going to be uploaded right from the polling unit. All that was not done. The constitutional requirements for a president-elect was not met. He went ahead and declared who he said he should declare, and he said we should go to court. People have gone to court, and they came out and they said prisoner offense, whatever. So at the end of the day, just as the elder said in that place, now you say you are going to tribunal because you are not satisfied with what happened in Plateau State. It is the same thing that some of us are not satisfied with the pronouncement made by Mahmoud publicly, because he told us that before you be declared a president-elect, you must have 25% of the votes in the FCT. That is after having the 22-thirds, which is 24 states. FCT.
Hello, are you still there? Basil? I mean, because you, where that stopped was on a very contentious point, which you know is still being vigorously pursued. You know, it has been said that absolutely not. But there are those who are saying, indeed, absolutely. So between absolutely and absolutely not, I guess we shall be hearing about it shortly. Mr. Namang, did you want to comment on that? Because I think that caller was going back into a known argument that the word and linking what had gone before that in the Constitution to 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. I don't know if you care to comment, but we have very little time.
Yes, you see, our problem is that individuals want to do what will please them. They are not looking at the proper thing or what is supposed to be the case. But what I know as a layman is that it is 24 states of the Federation, including Abuja. Abuja could be counted as the 25th.
Yes.
But certainly you must be more than 24 states.
That's right.
Which our candidate, the president-elect, got far above that. So he is duly...
I'm sorry to jump in like this. I thank you very much. I'm so sorry. It's so rude of me. I beg your pardon for doing so. But I have to jump in because we've completely run out of time. But you did say that that's not your opinion. You've expressed that, and I want to thank you very much, Mr. Silvanus Namang, for joining us this morning. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.